Hey guys, it's Drea and today I'm here with a new video for you, and today's video is so freaking exciting. I've always loved New York City content on YouTube, and just like different type of apartment hunting videos on YouTube in general, or just apartment videos. It's just been a thing of mine. I like binge watch for hours. But I also, not that it's just super fun to watch, I always think these are really helpful, and I know that videos like this helped me. I wanted to not only show you guys all the apartments I looked at, while of course being transparent with you guys and showing you rent prices, but also I wanted to throw in some experiences I had and some tips that might help you guys look for an apartment in New York City, if that's what you are going to be doing, or if that's why you're watching this video to begin with. I think it's super helpful, and being transparent is even better because I know I've seen a few videos of people posting apartments and I have no idea what their budget was, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know if that's the type of apartment I'm going to get, especially in New York City where apartments could be really ugly and just really dingy and small, and then they could go for like $3,000. Here, I'm definitely going to be as transparent with you guys as possible so that I can help you go through this, because apartment hunting is so stressful, especially in New York City where the competition is so intense. So I hope you guys find it helpful, and if you do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm really excited for the content I'm going to be putting out, especially these next couple weeks. I'm going to be putting out moving vlogs and apartment tours, empty apartment tours, and of course like a full apartment tour after everything is decorated. I'm so excited to finally be able to decorate the whole apartment, not just my bedroom. So super exciting. Well, anyways, with that, let's just get started. So I'm definitely going to be reading off of my phone because there are just a lot of things that I have to go through. What you do need is just letter of employment, bank statements, the last 3 I would definitely have, pay stub, the last 3 or the last 2. Some will ask for 1, some will ask for 2, some might ask for 3. It really depends on the landlord. And then tax returns, last 2 years, your W-2, photo ID, of course, is very, very important. Before you apply to any of these apartments, you should probably have some form of like letter of recommendation from your employer, a personal reference, just in case, and like a reference letter from a past landlord. Sometimes they ask for it, sometimes they don't. So I've had a couple experiences that have led me to having to sublease. If you, for some reason, are not able to rent in New York City, the best thing to do is to sublease an apartment or a bedroom in any place, basically. The perfect sites for this would be Gypsy Housing on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, and that's how I found 3 of my apartments prior to the one we are looking at today. A lot of people just post different bedrooms based on this Gypsy Housing or New York City roommates, and of course you get to meet with them and all that stuff. It's really easy, and now I'm assuming because of COVID it would more likely be a Zoom chat. That's how we got our roommate now. I will link down the Facebook groups down below if you guys want to, you know, have an apartment that way, and of course through that you will definitely have roommates. So my first year here, the first 2 months I was living in an apartment in East Village. I was only there for 2 months because I wanted to make sure that when I got here I was able to figure out where I wanted to live. The next time around I was looking at a sublease in East Village / like near Union Square area, and for this one it was going to be more like a lease transfer, and that is when I had the problem, which I never thought this would be a problem for me because my credit score is literally excellent. So the problem here wasn't my credit score, it was that my credit history wasn't super long. But that was what they told me, that I needed a guarantor because they weren't just gonna sign this off to me. And that's where my problem began, because I didn't have a guarantor. For a person to be your guarantor, they have to make 80 times the rent. And my dad didn't make 80 times the rent, so that was definitely a problem for me. So I had to nix that and look for a different sublease that wasn't like a lease transfer. Some people will not approve you because of your credit history and how long you've had it. That problem I only had with that apartment, so I couldn't get that one. And then fast forward, after I had gotten a really good apartment through a sublease, it was awesome, loved it, great roommates. Moving forward, and Brandon arriving here in August and us having like 3 weeks to find an apartment for us to live together. This got more difficult, and that was because Brandon didn't have a job here yet. And I knew he was gonna get a job here quickly because, well, he's really good at what he does. The problem was that he didn't have it when we were searching. And my specific income wasn't going to get us a good apartment. This is the problem I had when I spoke to one broker, and he told me, it's gonna be really hard for you to get an apartment without a guarantor if you haven't been with your company for a year. And at this point, I was with my company, I think for 8 months, almost 9 months. It was gonna be 9 months. And I was like, oh my God, this is impossible. And he literally freaked me out. And I had in my mind that literally all apartments were gonna be like this. Because New York City is literally so intense. So I was like, wow, now I'm not gonna have a place to live, all that stuff. And honestly, I probably shouldn't have stopped myself from searching. And I quickly went into like, I need to find a place to live. I'm going to sublease. That's another thing. Do not get discouraged because one broker tells you something, literally, that doesn't mean that all brokers are gonna tell you the same exact thing. Some landlords will be okay doing different things. So if one broker tells you something, whatever, get over that broker. We're gonna talk to another broker. That's also a tip that I have for you guys. But anyways, I got a sublease through Gypsy Housing, and I've been here on this sublease for a whole year. I have the best roommates in the world, and yeah, it's awesome. Now, onto this search, and a problem and experience that we had at the very beginning was co-ops. So we found a beautiful apartment, and I'm gonna show you this apartment here also just because it was really nice and I feel like you're gonna like appreciate it, and also it was under our budget and all that stuff. We definitely made 40 times the rent. We definitely did all of this stuff. We literally had every check mark being A1, but the problem with this was that they literally looked at our 2019 tax returns and said, last year you were not making 40 times the rent. And I was like, okay, but why are you looking at last year's tax returns in that way? When you can obviously see from my letter of employment, from my bank statements, that I was making with Brandon 40 times the rent of these apartments. I was just kind of offended, and for a second it discouraged me, and I was like, I really hope this isn't something that is going to stump us from getting an apartment again. We ended up looking at another apartment, and they literally approved us. They didn't ask any questions. We were making 40 times the rent for sure. We showed them our tax returns from last year just to show them that we were making money, but they weren't like, your tax returns say this. Because it's 2020, it's not 2019 anymore. Yeah, that was a problem we had, but we overcame it. And that's why I say, just because one broker tells you something doesn't mean that all landlords and all the brokers are going to tell you the exact same thing. So don't let it stump you. Don't let it like discourage you from getting an apartment. But if you so happen to where you can't get a guarantor for some reason, then that is okay. Look on Gypsy Housing, look at New York City rentals and New York City roommates, and your New York City dream does not have to go away because you don't make all the qualifications, all the freaking crazy qualifications they make you have here. Like I said, I've lived here for a year and a half now, or almost 2 years, and this is my first time now finally signing for an apartment in New York City with my boyfriend. It takes some time, and I think it's just like, do what you gotta do for the first year, and once you're there, you're good to go. Yeah, those are just some tips and some experiences that I went through living in New York City and trying to find apartments and roommates and all of that stuff. And now what you've all been waiting for, the actual New York City apartment hunting videos. So, apartment hunting here. How I found my apartment in New York City was through an app called StreetEasy, and it's really just catered to New York City apartments. It's just really easy. I like the interface. I think it's really user-friendly, but I know a lot of people that have also just found apartments through just Googling New York City apartments and also through Zillow and different, rental sites. I think StreetEasy just happens to be, I don't know, the easiest form for me, and I feel like they just update a lot faster. So our budget was, well, okay, first of all, we didn't want to have to pay all that much. I know this is still gonna be a lot because New York City rental prices are fucking crazy. They were so crazy. But for Manhattan, we were just trying to look for something on the cheaper side. Honestly, anywhere from $2,400 to possibly $2,750. But we were hoping to be right in the middle, if anything. The first apartment that we went to see was in Hudson Yards. It was $2,450. When I looked through the photos, I was obsessed. It was a beautiful apartment. It had beautiful large windows, it had new hardwood floors, it had a huge kitchen island, which is literally crazy. Like, where do you find a big kitchen in New York City? There was a dishwasher, like the whole kitchen was renovated. Honestly, the whole apartment was renovated. There was laundry in unit, which is unheard of. And that is something that really just made us want that apartment so bad. And no, this isn't the apartment we went with. And it was mostly because the size was just too small for 2 people. It was a lot smaller than the photos made it seem. And that's something that is very common in these photos that brokers post. They make it look a lot larger just to bring you in. But anyways, some cons that just made us say no to this apartment was only one small closet in the bedroom and one tiny closet right outside the bedroom, which was just not functional for us, especially if we weren't even going to be able to have a dresser or anything like that in our bedroom, because then like, where do we put our clothes? Where do I put my lighting setup? And the last con, and something that's super important to me, is the fact that these windows were north facing, which means that we were never ever going to get direct light. The bedroom literally faced another building, so we were definitely not going to get any light from that at all. Going through it, all in all, we just felt like this wasn't the right option for us, and that was okay because it was the first apartment we went to look, and for the most part it was okay. It wasn't just a super shitty apartment or anything, so we had our hopes up for the next few apartments to be the right one for us. So the next apartment we looked at was $2,500 a month, and this was actually a loft in Gramercy. Gramercy is right between East Village and Kips Bay. It's a really nice area, really good restaurants. It's a little more quiet. I feel like it's a little more residential, but still has amazing restaurants. There's still the hustle and bustle of Manhattan. It was probably the most beautiful apartment that I saw. The pro, number one, it was a beautiful apartment. Literally gorgeous. Everything was renovated. It was a loft, so it's like super open space compared to like feeling kind of crowded. I like the idea of a loft, and it's always really cool. It was an elevator building, so we appreciate it. It was a really small elevator. It felt a little claustrophobic in it, but it was on the 8th floor, so an elevator definitely mattered. Because it was on the 8th floor and the windows were so giant, you can see the Empire State Building. So imagine that apartment at nighttime. Ooh! And then there was exposed brick, which is always a nice little detail, and I feel like it really brings character to an apartment to have exposed brick. It was also painted white, which just looks so good. Last but not least, this building also had rooftop access, which is incredible because you can go up there anytime, bring friends, just have a nice time. At nighttime, you can go up there and just like have a view of the whole city, and it's just a good time having rooftop. So we really love this apartment. We actually like pre-applied for this apartment. This was a co-op, so they told us that it was probably going to be a 30-day process, and that just wasn't enough time. They were also the ones that told us that our tax returns from last year said that we didn't make 40 times the rent, which made us go, well, I guess we can't do this, because if we still continue the application fee was $1,500 because it was a co-op. We did not want to lose out on $1,500 just for an application fee, and we kind of just chose to not continue the application. So that one is not the one we went with, even though it was beautiful, but we didn't want to just roll the dice on it, you know? Moving on to the third apartment. This was also an apartment in Gramercy. Also, just want to say that this one was $2,500, so it was straight in the middle of our budget, and it was just a good deal. This apartment was super cute as well. It was in a walk-up, so there was no elevator, which is kind of a con, but that's okay. This one was on the 4th floor, but this one was awesome. You walk in and you have a bathroom like most apartments do, and it wasn't super renovated or anything, but it's just like a normal bathroom. It wasn't dirty, it was clean. Continue walking and you see a kitchen. It was definitely really nice. It had white exposed brick in the kitchen. It had pretty big and spacious cabinets. There was a dishwasher, which is awesome. The sink was pretty large. The refrigerator was a normal size. The stove was a normal size. It was kind of a small kitchen though. Honestly, it was very small. So that was kind of a downside, but continue walking. The living room was huge. It is a huge living room, especially for like New York City terms. First of all, windows were really nice. Self-facing windows, which means we were gonna get a lot of direct light. That was awesome. There was exposed brick, which is beautiful. It feels super cozy. And then going straight to the bedroom was also huge, which is major. You never get just this amount of space. There was a closet, there was enough storage space, and because of the fact that the bedroom was so big, you can just continue adding more things. And yeah, and if Brandon were to work from home as well, then his office could be in the bedroom, mine could be in the living room or whatever. And the bedroom also got a lot of light. There was laundry in building. Really, the laundry in building was actually right next door to the sister building of the apartment. Yeah, this just had so many pros. This apartment was just literally awesome, and it's honestly the one we went with. Spoiler alert, this is the apartment we got, but it was just, oh, it was so good. Yeah, some of the cons of this building, it was a 4th floor walk up, so we were gonna have to walk up 4 flights of stairs, and that isn't our favorite, but it definitely isn't a deal breaker at all. There's a con, laundry in building next door, so you'd still have to walk outside and into the next door's building to do your laundry. The last place we looked at, I know that I already told you guys that we got the last apartment, but I thought I'd mention this one. This apartment we looked at was $2,500 a month. It was a loft in East Williamsburg. This one was very interesting. It was really cool apartment. It was awesome. It was super large, but it just gave me weird vibes going into it. Like, just getting to East Williamsburg in general was just, I didn't really love the area. I know a lot of people love East Williamsburg. They think it's super artsy. I just didn't like it. It just felt too industrial for me. It just felt like things were just too far apart. I literally got there and I was like, where is my nearest food source? It just seemed like there were only warehouses, nothing really around. Like, I didn't see any restaurants. It was just so weird to me. I'm not even sure how to describe it. It just seemed empty, and I just thought like, would I feel safe walking home at night if I happened to be walking home alone? And honestly, I didn't. So yeah, it just gave me weird vibes, and also the broker we had was just super weird. All in all, the apartment was really cool. The loft space was awesome. It was huge. It had really large windows. The appliances were new. The bathroom was pretty large. So we went with the 1 bedroom in Gramercy for $2,500 a month. I'm really excited, and on our move-in day, I'm definitely going to be taking an empty apartment tour. Well, anyway, I feel like this video is like 1,000 years long. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful in some way. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and also for future moving vlogs, empty apartment tours, and decorated apartment tours, I guess, once we have all our furniture inside, and it's gonna be fun. So definitely subscribe if you want to see this content, plus all the other content I do. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll try to answer all of them. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye guys.